Today, we're going to show how to write a unit test for a recipe whose after result has some degree of dynamism to it that we can't just assert with a fixed after text string. You'll see what I mean here in a moment. We're just going to create a test that implements rewrite test. A really good example of a recipe that has this kind of dynamism is the upgrade dependency version recipe from the rewrite Maven. Its version, so the group ID, org spring framework boot, artifact ID, spring boot starter. Let's make this actuator. Copilot's inventing a bunch of arguments here. The version number could be 3.x. So it's going to select whatever the latest 3 dot minor version is of Spring Boot Actuator is at any time, and that can change. So if we hard code a particular version of Spring Boot Actuator 3.x into our unit test, it can break later when the Spring team releases a new 3x version. So we're going to create a POM XML a piece of example code here. And yeah, let's just create a little example POM project. Kind of fix the formatting here a bit. And remember, I can put a language equals XML comment on this string, and the IDE will syntax highlight the contents of that string. Let's put this up to the latest, like Spring Boot 2.7 version. So just that's all we've got is just one dependency here. And so we would expect this to change to some 3 dot version. I actually don't even know what the latest 3 dot version of Spring Boot is at the time that we're recording this. So what we can do instead of putting a fixed after text here is put a spec, and we can use this after method on spec to just inspect the after text of the pom.xml after the recipe runs. And we're going to put like a version, we can do basically like a little regex to locate the version tag in the after text. And this is optional, of course, but we can assert that indeed I can find that tag. Of course, there's 2 version tags in this POM. There's this one up here, and then there's the dependency version. So I can call this twice so that I'm kind of skipping the first one and going to the next one. So then, I can grab like the first group, and this would be the actual version. And I can say assert that, version dot starts with 3 dot. That's what we would expect. And then from this so I'm basically getting the after text, what actually happened, and I can return some sort of like expectation here. So I can take this text right here and just say, yeah, like I just want to prove that the only thing that changed was this bit right here. And I can put a language annotation on this one as well. So we'll see if this runs. Looks like it passed. Let's do it one more time and actually just breakpoint here so we can see what the version actually is. .2.2. So it can be useful, the after text, if I look at evaluate the after text, it is the whole POM here, right? But it can be useful to like try to find or extract out the bit that I think changed and still write out the assertion here, like write out the after text with what I think it should be, and just only put like a string format parameter in the places that I think changed to kind of assert that nothing else changed in the POM with this recipe that I wasn't expecting. And that's how to test something with a dynamic output.
To learn more about Moderne and OpenRewrite, check out our documentation.